The obituary should have been the end. Instead, it was the beginning. On October 14, 1897, the Boston Daily Globe printed a brief story about a missing man. The headline was unremarkable: "Schoolteacher missing without trace." The man's name was Henry Elijah Mallory, age 32. At the time, he was little more than another name in a long line of disappearances. A quiet schoolteacher, a bachelor, a man with no real enemies. And yet, 100 years later, in 1997, the Boston Globe received a furious letter. Neatly typed, signed in looping ink. It began with a single chilling line: "Your obituary was in error." Who was Henry Mallory? Henry was born in 1865 in Fall River, Massachusetts. The son of a stern cobbler and a mother who died young, Henry grew up in silence. Neighbors recalled him walking alone along the riverbanks, reciting lines of Shakespeare under his breath. Books became his closest companions. By 1890, he had become a teacher in Boston, instructing students in Latin, philosophy, and history. But his interests leaned darker. He spoke of time not as a flow, but as a structure. One student recalled, he said, "Yesterday isn't gone. It's just hidden behind a door." Atmosphere of the era. Boston in 1897 was a city divided. Horse-drawn carriages clattered along cobblestone streets slick with rain. Factories belched smoke into the gray skies. At night, gas lamps flickered, throwing long shadows into alleys that smelled of iron and ash. Henry lived in a narrow boarding house, in a cramped attic room beneath a leaking roof. Stacks of books lined every corner, volumes of astronomy, philosophy, experimental physics. Among them, his journals, where his fascination with time grew more pronounced. One entry reads, "I hear it sometimes, when the night is quiet, the hum of the clock not moving forward, but around me. I believe the past is a place, and I intend to find it." The Disappearance. On the morning of October 14, 1897, Henry dismissed his class early. Witnesses described him pale, distracted, muttering under his breath. That afternoon, he walked toward the Charles River, carrying only a small leather satchel. Inside, 3 books, a silver flask, and a single notebook. A fisherman swore he saw Henry pacing the riverbank at dusk, but by morning, he was gone. Police searched the waters. No body was ever found. 6 weeks later, the obituary ran. Found in his room. In his attic room, investigators discovered his final journal. The last entry stopped mid-sentence. "The air is thinning. The walls are closer. Tonight, I test the door." For 100 years, Henry Mallory was a forgotten name, a man swallowed by the past. Until 1997, when he returned. Not in person, but in writing. The first letter. On December 2, 1997, the Boston Globe received an envelope. Inside was a neatly typed letter with a signature at the bottom. It read, "To the editors of the Globe, your obituary was in error. I did not drown. I was not buried. I walked through. You wrote of my death as though you had the right. You did not. Correct the record." Signed, Henry Elijah Mallory. At first, it was dismissed as a prank. But editor Daniel Reeve grew uneasy. The phrasing felt old. The vocabulary matched letters written in the 1890s. And then came the signature. A perfect match to Mallory's old school records. Is missing teacher alive after 100 years? Globe investigates letter. More letters. Within weeks, more envelopes arrived, each one stranger than the last. One contained a hand-drawn map of Boston as it appeared in 1897. Every street, every storefront, every bridge, accurate down to missing details historians later confirmed. Another included a sketch of his old classroom, the chalkboard, the desks, even the faint crack on the ceiling plaster. But the most unsettling letter read, "Time is not a river. It is a room, a terrible room, with many doors. I chose one. I am misplaced, not gone. Correct the record before it finds you." Interview transcript, 1998. Audio tape crackle. Reeve, you're telling me this man is Henry Mallory. Voice, Dr. Brooks, historian. I'm telling you, whoever he is, he knows details only Mallory could know. His handwriting, his phrasing, it's as if the man stepped out of the 19th century and into ours. Family reaction. In February 1998, a descendant of Henry's brother came forward. Her name was Margaret Mallory. She brought with her an old trunk, passed down through generations. Inside, a photograph of Henry, unsmiling, eyes intense. A family Bible with his name inscribed. And a bundle of his early letters. When shown the new letters, Margaret wept. It's him, the same voice, the same strange rhythm. My grandmother used to say Henry was too stubborn to die. Maybe she was right. The growing threat. As months passed, the letters darkened. Henry seemed angry not only about his obituary, but about something pursuing him. The door does not open one way. I hear it, following. Correct the record before it steps through. Cliffhanger to Act 3. In April 1998, the Globe received a final package. Inside, a worn leather satchel. The same satchel Henry carried the day he disappeared. Inside were 3 books, a silver flask, and a notebook. The notebook's last page, dated October 14, 1897, ended in smudged ink. But beneath it, in different handwriting, dated 1997, were the words, "100 years is not enough. Correct it." The altered obituary. In June 1998, archivists made a discovery. The original 1897 obituary was changed. A new line appeared in the microfilm. Correction, Henry Mallory remains at large. His death is disputed. No editor admitted altering it. No record of revision existed. And yet, the change was real. It was as if Henry had forced history itself to comply. Margaret's journal. In 1999, Margaret wrote, "It feels less like Henry returned and more like time itself bent to his demand. By refusing his obituary, he refused death itself. What does that mean for us?" The satchel again. In 2001, a janitor cleaning the Globe's basement found another satchel wedged behind a rusted shelf. Inside were the same 3 books, the same silver flask. But the notebook was different. On its first page in bold writing was, "I am still misplaced." Closing narration. Henry Mallory vanished in 1897. He reappeared in letters a century later. And then he vanished again. Was he a man who stepped through time? A hoaxer with impossible knowledge? Or a reminder that the past is not behind us, but waiting, just beyond the door? Perhaps one day, Henry will walk through again.